Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
We're back, and so are you. Thank you so much for joining us today on New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez. These are my licensed marriage and family therapy friends, ready to assist in your healing journey. Marc Cameron and Alice Benton, are you guys having a splendid day?
We are.
Why are you looking at me when you're saying that?
Because, I don't know, it's better to have a splendid day than a splend don't, or a splend couldn't, or a splend didn't feel like it. We don't want those. Dr. Alice, what do you feel like talking to us about today?
A heavy topic that we hear a lot from our callers. If you are dissatisfied with the frequency of intimacy in your marriage, and I am talking about physical intimacy, it is such a painful and lonely place to be in a marriage. And it's particularly frustrating for Christian faithful spouses who are not getting their sexual needs met elsewhere out of fidelity, staying strong in such a marriage, but really difficult to do over the years. So I want to talk through some do's and don'ts, because there are some common ways of responding to this pain that exacerbate the problem, and there are more effective ways of responding. Do wonder why. Wonder why there has been a change in sexuality, especially if there was a healthy season at the beginning of your relationship. And some of the reasons we often find are hurt because of something that has occurred between the two spouses, a medical problem, historical trauma that preceded the marriage, and a very common one is neglect. Because if a marriage is not nurtured on a regular basis, it does tend to deteriorate. And simply out of neglect and busyness raising children, the physical intimacy can lapse. Do not quote scripture to your spouse about submission and about not depriving except with mutual consent. Although those are two truths in the Bible that are worth talking about, they are not helpful to bring into this problem, especially not as a primary response. And yet we hear from a lot of spouses who Bible thump to try to get sexual activity back into the marriage. Do not demand that sexuality become active again. This tends to add to the hurt, and even if it works for a time, resentment will be building under the surface. Do not pursue non-consensual intimacy. Even though you're married, it is still considered rape if you push non-consensual intimacy within the marriage. Do praise the ways your spouse loves you in other areas. Do admit ways you might have broken trust or hurt your spouse, because this is such a common root to why there's a pulling apart within the sexual bond. Do ask to rebuild trust, and wait to address the sexual piece later. And after you've taken these other steps I've recommended, you might say something like, I miss when we were closer, emotionally closer and physically closer. And I hope I can help you feel safe enough for us to rebuild that one day. That biblical principle of taking the beam out of your own eye first before going after the speck in others' eyes really applies to this issue. And we have seen healing when these principles are enacted, especially through counseling.
So if this is your story or you've got something else going on, we want to let you know about the Renewing Love Marriage webinar. It is happening this coming Tuesday, the 16th of September, and you can get more details about it at newlife.com. You can also call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We would love to share with you why we think this will be a good webinar for you to attend. It's 90 minutes, which includes 30 minutes of Q&A. It's going to be hosted by New Life President Becky Brown and JJ West, whom you hear right here on New Life Live all the time. So we'll be back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get to your phone calls. We've got Sharon, Julie, and Lisa standing by ready to talk to us, and we're going to talk to them as well. Hey, thank you so much for listening to New Life Live. Thanks for watching us as well. We'll be back.
Every marriage faces seasons of difficulty, and whether you're working through betrayal or feeling emotionally distant or simply just roommates, Know this, you're not alone and there's hope. Renewing Love is 90 minutes. I want you to invest just this 1.5 hours. We're going to talk about how to navigate seasons of distance and disconnection with grace. We're going to give you practical steps to begin rebuilding trust after betrayal or hurt. We're going to teach you how to invite God into your marriage for healing and renewal. We're going to give you simple tools to strengthen communication and emotional connection, and steps to move forward with hope, faith, and lasting love. And it's not just information, it's an invitation to heal, to reconnect, to trust again, and discover that God can make all things new, even your marriage.
The Renewing Love Marriage webinar is Tuesday evening, September 16th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go online to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Let's go to Philadelphia to Sharon, who is listening on WFIL. Thank you, Sharon, for calling in to New Life Live.
Hi. So I've called before around my stepkids, and particularly the grandchildren, and how, I don't really have a very remote relationship with the adult stepchildren, and that's been a struggle to continue to have a relationship with the grandkids. And I guess my question is, that's just one part of this. Like, I feel completely abandoned by family, definitely that side, my late husband's family, and then also my friends. And what's, I guess, difficult is all of these friends are single, and, you think, okay, when you lose a spouse, and I've since remarried, but you think when you lose a spouse that you probably will lose a lot of your married friends from that relationship, but I never dreamed I would lose several of my single friends that I called my sisters.
Mm.
They refer to me as a sister. And so,
how long ago did you remarry?
2 years ago. It'll be 3 years in January.
Okay.
And I wasn't, my spouse passed away in 2021, and I got married in 2023. And probably that is because, some of that is the abandonment, I think, contributed to that. I had no community, and I listened to you guys for years, and I know how much you suggest community, even like my girlfriend, same-sex friends that are supportive. And so, it's just been, so I'm trying to deal with my feelings. I have a therapist that I, was referred to by your organization, and she says to me, "Oh, I'm worried that, you'll isolate yourself." Well, it's easy to isolate when people don't really come around or call you the same.
Sharon, so you mentioned this word twice now, abandonment, and you mentioned, I think, feeling it with your adult kids, your husband's family, and with your friends. And it sounds like it's a theme for you. Did you have a theme of abandonment growing up?
Yes. Yeah. My dad, but he was always there, but it was a thing of, he would come home on the weekends, and Monday morning you'd wake up and you knew he wasn't there. Mm-hmm. But that was an organized thing, so organized arrangement. So, but it still felt
because of
really
work. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Because of work, and my parents' relationship was not. It was not good. They were really, really separated. But they never formally put anything in place because of us. So we always saw my dad. We always had a home in Maryland and a home in the Philadelphia area. So we always were around him, and he was always there, and always a phone call away, so.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, there's different types of abandonment that kids experience, and what you experienced was this intermittent connection with your father, who was, gone for long periods of time, and then when he was around, things were strained between your mother and him. So I'm sure that added to the emotional strain in the household. And yeah, like you said, it's not how it's supposed to be. And so when people have these experiences, they can grow up into adulthood and carry these same wounds. And even though they're not actually experiencing physical abandonments for others, they experience perceived abandonments from other people. And so you're right about learning to get into community. But at the same time, you've got a wound there, and it keeps on being re-triggered. And until you address that wound and talk through that and learn how to heal that, you're going to keep experiencing these perceived abandonments. And then your reaction to that, I'm hearing, is to pull back. You want to get away. You want to... it's hurt. And that comes out of a response in learning how to manage the abandonment. Because if I can pull away first, then I'm in control of it. I'm in charge of it. Whereas growing up, you weren't in charge of that. You weren't in charge of your dad's schedule. And so it's a self-protective strategy that you employ. But learning to find a counselor who will help you make sense of that childhood experience and learn to heal, then you will learn to be able to break that. Do you have a counselor?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I have a counselor.
Does that person talk with you about your childhood experiences? Did they take a historical perspective or approach?
We talked about it. Yeah, we talked about it initially, and actually, I initially went to her because of a friend that was very hurtful. After I felt abandoned, and that's why I initially went to her. This friend called me her sister, and we are demographically very different, and she's from the South, and I just thought we really were what she said, and she put herself on the line based on her difference in demographics, put her community on the line for me, and then all of a sudden things changed. So I initially went to therapy because of that, because it was so devastating to me.
Sharon, have you ever had a chance to ask the sisters, the girlfriends, and the adult children why they withdrew from you?
Well, the adult children I've begged, I've texted, and they're my stepchildren, so I've texted, but they're not. It took my late husband years to really express his feelings, and so they're very much like their dad. They don't really express feelings, but if they really need me, they will let me know. So, like, one stepdaughter has a paramour, I guess I'll call him. She's lived with him forever. He doesn't want to get married, so she's in that. And he had a stroke at 50, and, I'm not that much older than him, but, she called me right away. And so I went to the hospital, immediately gave her instructions as to what to do. So in that situation, I was there, and I even took him to a couple of his doctor's appointments.
So it may be that you're a giver, and you might be surrounded by takers. And takers do tend to abandon us when they no longer need us or when their lives get busy. So these people that have left you, they might be immature and self-centered, and that's why they left. And bringing that to your therapist to talk about, were there signs of this? Does that seem to apply to them? And choosing to lament the loss while also realizing perhaps my radar needs to be more finely tuned with the people I let in close to me. It's also possible that there are some things, Sharon, that might be difficult about you. It might be hard to be in relationship with you. Because all of us have our oddities, our eccentricities. Marc pointed out you maybe withdraw when you think someone is abandoning you, and it might be premature. So people might get confused in relationship with you and think, well, she's in, she's out, now where did she go? So looking at both the characteristics of the people that left you and then your own influence on those relationships, and asking anybody you can, what's it like to be in relationship with me? What's difficult about being in relationship with me, and what's beautiful about it? Because there's always room for character growth. And then as you want to know, how do you expand your community? I think it depends on where you go to look for safe people. And I have found that the safest people are those that are seeking recovery, those that know they're broken and they've got problems and they want to grow and be better. And so I've often said this, at almost any new life event, I find that the people that attend it, they're the salt of the earth, wanting to get better, knowing that they have some problems. And so, Sharon, getting into groups, getting into church communities, and of course doesn't guarantee that there'll be ideal friend material there, but it makes it more likely that you'll find safer people.
What do you think so far, Sharon?
Can I share? Hello?
Yeah, you're still on.
Can I share? I know one of the things that makes it difficult to be in relationship with me, and that's that I'm very direct and transparent, and I think some of those folks that I've been in relationship with aren't. And so I am very, I'm very, I don't want to say clear-headed, but I'm just very direct, and sometimes I know that's hard, so I have practiced in the last couple of years just not saying anything, just affirming people.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it's good to be clear with other people, but it's, we also need to be tactful too. And sometimes a directness can look like a pushiness or a forcefulness. So it's learning to recognize, where does that come from? So I think there's a balance here with what Alice is saying is, how much of this is the other people around me, but also how much of my past history, my wounds, are driving the bus and coloring the way that I see things. I think it sounds like you have an anxious attachment style. I think the book How We Love would probably be very insightful for you.
Yes, How We Love. It's one that we recommend often. It's available in the newlife.com store, and we're going to send you a copy just for calling in today, Sharon, from Philadelphia, here on New Life Live. Let's take another call. Here is Julie in Kentucky, listening on Sirius XM, channel 131. Welcome, Julie, to New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for taking my call today. I'm a first-time caller. My question to you all today is, basically, I have a 32-year-old daughter who has 3 children by 3 different fathers, and my question to you is, am I helping, hindering, or overstepping? All of the above, really. The situation is, she's a single mom, has needed help throughout. She got pregnant very early on at 18 years of age, and has needed help, whether it be physically, financially. Basically, since then, I have been a primary caregiver with her for all 3 of her children. Situations have not been great. She's kind of ebbed and flowed as far as getting back on her feet, feeling better and more secure. Then she gets in a relationship with some guy, and things kind of tank, and the kids get left behind. The recent scenario that has happened that's brought me to this phone call today is I had the oldest granddaughter for a soccer tournament this weekend and went to bring her home. Her mom was MIA, my daughter, all weekend, couldn't get a hold of her. She was supposed to show up, never did. She showed up finally, told me that she was going to be coming home, which the home that she has is a home that I purchased for her so her children could have a stable home and would not bounce around from one environment to another, which she was doing, with the understanding that she would contribute. She would, do those things, pay rent. My goal is always to try to help her on her feet. Well, I went over there. She had left. I found out she's been leaving these animals. She's got 2 dogs, has cats in the home, no food, no water. The house was just wrecked completely. I was mortified. The animals were starving.
Julie, you still there?
I am sorry.
Okay, that's okay. We understand.
It was just devastating to find the home and the animals in that state. And you're worried what is happening to your grandchildren when you're not there.
Well, they tell me they're old enough. The 7-year-old tells me, the 13-year-old tells me, and I tried to get them on weekends, and I go over and I try to help clean and do laundry, buy groceries, and it's just not good enough. It's just not enough. They wanted me to stay. I had went to the store, got groceries. The exterior was in horrible shape. I cleaned as best as I could. I started laundry. My daughter was upset with me for intervening, that I had no business to be there, and I had no business, to say this is not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yet she wants you to rescue her in the times when she's between relationships. We're coming up to a break here, but we're going to have some answers for you on the other side, okay?
Yes, we are. So stay on the phone. And Lisa, you too, we'll talk to you as well here on New Life Live. Man, such heartbreaking calls that we hear all the time here on the program. Remember to keep our listeners in your prayers. People who call in and share these things that are going on in their lives. It's not easy for them to call in. And when they do, let's just all come around them, lift them up in prayer, support them. And Julie, we'll be back to you in just a little bit here on New Life Live.
I went to Every Man's Battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Every Man's Battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Orange County, California, September 26th through the 28th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Enter the code NLL for a discount.
Every Man's Battle saved my life.
1-800-NEWLIFE and the discount code NLL. Club New Life changes lives.
I think I go way back to listening to New Life, learning so much from it, and then becoming a Club New Life member.
Club New Life is a monthly giving family that helps New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people.
I'm so thankful because why I keep giving? Because I keep learning, and I'm so thankful for all the lives that you touch every day and the people's lives. So when I get to still hear the radio show, it's just so encouraging to my heart.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
And one reason I give? Because I feel like sometimes I'm hiding behind a counselor's couch listening to all this great information and not paying. So my guilt of this great advice is alleviated by being a Club New Life member.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Hey, we are back on New Life Live, and Julie in Kentucky, you still with us?
I am, yes.
Great. Go ahead.
Hey, Julie. Well, yeah, I'm feeling for you here where you feel stuck because I think what you're saying here is, am I overstepping by helping my daughter? But if I stop doing that, then the grandkids suffer. So I need to help them, but then that continues enabling her, and so then round and around and around you go. I think that's what you're saying here. Yeah, and so you're stuck in the cycle. And so she's, to quote a song here, she's looking for love in all the wrong places. Mm-hmm. And between those, so she's not seeking healthy relationships, and then she's invested and she's all in, and it sounds like there's some type of neglect that's happening with the kids. And then that ultimately breaks down, and then you step in and you become like the stable parent, that she should have with a spouse. Right. Now, I think you need to tease the two things apart here, because absolutely should you step in and help your grandkids if they are not getting their physical needs met. But at the same time, there's this enabling of your daughter. And so it sounds like she can't really take care of herself. So she doesn't really know how to take care of them. And so there may need to be some consequences that happen out of that you might have to legally go and get temporary custody of her children so that she can learn, so that she can get into recovery for herself. You have to have stabilization first before she can get into recovery here. And that may be a really, really difficult thing to do. But if there's no food in the house for the animals, and that could possibly be the case for the children too. So this is so this is a serious thing. I mean, it's really difficult to do that because that creates a lot of tension to say or do something like that. What are you thinking when I suggest that to you?
It's everything that I think of it in my own mind, and then I think that because of this cycle, and I know she's stuck, and it's like we take 2 steps ahead, and I'm all about, having her stand on her own 2 feet. I don't want to be the parent, but I love my grandkids. I mean, I've invested. I'm here. I'm all in. They look for me. They need me. They don't have a stable father. They have nobody else. And I will not turn my back on them, but I don't want to continue to this, like you said, this really bad cycle we are in between my daughter and I, and they are 2 separate issues. How do I? She knows she has me. You know what I mean?
Well, so that's what I'm saying. You got to separate those 2 things apart. You absolutely should be there for your kids. So that's what I'm saying. You may have to get temporary custody of your grandchildren. Now you separate those 2 things apart. Now she has to deal with the consequences of getting her life together. You can still love her. You can still be there for her. But then you don't have to continue enabling her. But then your grandchildren are taken care of. So that's what you need to do, is pull those 2 things apart, because when they stay together, of course, you're going to need to take care of those kids, but then it just enables that cycle.
So that may start by, Julie, you letting your daughter know this is not working, and I'm afraid of the state of what's going on in your home, and I'm going to have to take action to protect the children. Now, daughter, if you're
that last night,
you said that last night.
I did that yesterday. Yes.
All right. Now there's a second part to it. Daughter, if you're willing to get help right now, if you're willing to get connected with a clinician, I wouldn't be surprised if your daughter might need inpatient care. I'm wondering about substance use. If you're willing to get help now, then we might be able to work this out. While I still take custody while you're in rehab, but I'm not able to let this go on in this way anymore. And if she refuses to get help and get treatment, you'll probably have to rethink her being allowed to live in this home that you purchased for her so generously. And you purchased it for the grandchildren, but it does allow her to continue to make really unhealthy choices because she's got a place to land every time.
Yep. Okay.
And then I'd also have you, Julie, look into what level of support do you need to make such awful stances with your own daughter, because maybe you feel guilty for why she started making these choices. Maybe you feel the compassion for what her life was like growing up as a kid, because of course there were imperfections in what went on in the home. And so that might keep you rescuing her because you feel somewhat responsible for why she's struggling. Does any of that hold true for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
100%.
Let us connect you with a counselor to help you, because boundaries are easy to talk about. They feel almost impossible to put into place and hold when your daughter's crying or raging at you, when your grandchildren are scared and lonely and calling you. Then, of course, rescue seems like the best option, but it's a short-term option that keeps everybody stuck.
Right. Yes. Very much, yes.
All right, Julie, stay on the phone. We'll send you a copy of Boundaries, and we'll put you in touch with somebody from our network. What advice would you give to parents who maybe are thinking, well, yeah, my grown kids are doing this because I did something to them or I didn't, I wasn't there for them when they were kids, so now it's my chance to make up for that and always come to their rescue. How do you put a stop to that?
We make up for the pain we caused by confessing it, acknowledging it, asking, tell me how it affected you, and let's talk together, brainstorm about how I can make amends to you. And making amends is so different than enabling, because enabling leads to a person staying immature and stuck, and that's not helping anybody. That's keeping them stuck. So it's differentiating. How do I make amends and rebuild trust versus rescuing an adult child?
Yeah, Mark, any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree with what Alice is saying here. Yes, while we have contributed to the way our adult children turn out, they ultimately maintain responsibility for their healing. But as we confess, it gives them a place to go to and make sense of it.
All right, very good. Lisa, we will come back to you, or we will come to you. We will go to you when we come back from the break on New Life Live.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found life recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go to the phones. Here is Lisa in Wilmington, Delaware, listening on WAVA. Welcome, Lisa, to New Life Live.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, how can we help you today?
So my husband and I are, we have been listeners of your show. We, pull up prior broadcasts. I have been to the Restore Women's Retreat workshop a couple years ago. That being said, we've been married 34 years. We've been through a lot together. We have a severely disabled child. I've been through breast cancer. He's stood by me. He's a good man. But I'm trying to get some guidance on whether or not you all think it's safe for me to believe him on a specific issue. There has been betrayal on both of our parts. For about 20 years, he had a pornography addiction. He's been free of that since 2017, and I do believe that to be very true. He worked very hard at it, had an accountability partner and all that. But during those 20 years, I would find it and he would deny it and lie. So there was a lot of betrayal on that end. He would look at prostitutes' pictures on Craigslist, but never anything physical. I did have an affair about 5 years ago after 30 years of marriage. And I'm extremely remorseful. That, of course, has ended. It ended 5 years ago. It was about a 9-month affair. That being said, since the last 5 years, we have both vowed complete transparency, rebuilding the marriage, all of that. So recently, as of a couple days ago, I was searching some old internet history, and I found little crumbs of where he had looked up some massage salon, massage places. I don't know what to call it. And I confronted him about it, and he absolutely denied ever going. He said that his chiropractor had recommended it for some pain in his back, but he never ever went to these places. The following day, we had another conversation. I confronted him about it again, and he did confess that he did go 4 times in the matter of a couple weeks, and that he did get some pain relief, that there was nothing sexual about it, but he never told me about it. He, of course, paid cash, but the establishments were actual brick and mortar establishments, but he did say he was not completely disrobed. He kept his underwear on, like that makes a difference. Anyway, so then at following conversation, he confessed that he actually had gone 6 times over a period of about a month, and this happened a year ago, and that he went to church about it, talked to a counselor, he came to terms with it, he stopped the behavior, but he never told me. But my first time confronting him, he lied about it, said he looked him up, but then deleted his searches again, the old behaviors from 20-some years ago, deleting, hiding things. Yeah. And now, okay, so I guess my question is, there's been so much hurt and betrayal between the both of us on each side. He's extremely remorseful. He says he will do anything to save our marriage. We both don't want to end in divorce. We've been through so much together, 30-some years. But I guess I want to believe that it wasn't sexual, and he says he has thought about it, and that although it wasn't sexual, he said that he kind of liked the feeling of being pampered. I know that sounds really weird coming from a man who's almost 60, but he said it wasn't sexual. He swears to me that something like that happened. Okay. But that he kind of just kept going back, 6 times total. And, I don't know, that number could change tomorrow, but that it was for purely feeling pampered or whatever. And I want to believe that it wasn't sexual, because he knows that if it was sexual, then I probably would file for a divorce from him.
Well,
and I don't know whether...
Right, and so that's the difficulty, right? Because you don't know. And so, yeah, there's a lot of elements that are similar to betrayal, where you have withholding of information, gaslighting. And so, yeah, of course, he's as you keep digging, you keep on finding more. He keeps on changing the story on you. So, yeah, it makes sense why your antenna is up to say, hey, we've been down this path before, and I know where it ended, or I know what I discovered. And so if you both have vowed transparency, this is the complete opposite of transparency. Now, I noticed that you ended up having your affair after he became sober. A few years after he became sober. Did you guys ever go through betrayal recovery? I know you said you went to Restore, but have you both gone together through therapy where you've done betrayal recovery, where you both gave one another full therapeutic disclosure, you learned to sit in the pain with one another, and then you really learned to understand, like, why did I act out in this way? Have you done that?
No, we've gone to marriage counseling, and I know that in the Restore workshop they talked about full disclosure and a lie detector, and he has said he will take a lie detector. Okay. So
that's good. So yeah, whenever there's been betrayal, you need to go through betrayal recovery, because if you just work on the symptoms, you don't get to the root cause. Because there's a lot of recovery programs out there that just focus on sobriety. They don't focus on what got us there in the first place. And if you don't deal with that wound, you just repeat, and it acts at a very high chance that you act that out again. And so when you go through betrayal recovery, it starts with that full therapeutic disclosure. So I recommend, let us get you in touch with a therapist who can walk you guys through that process, where and you can even write all of the things down that happened before, so that you can kind of reset and completely get to this part where you can start understanding the wounds and moving forward. But and in that, hopefully you can get to the truth of did it become sexual? Didn't it become sexual? So you can figure out, where do you go? Or what do you want to do with this relationship?
Alice?
Lisa, I'm so sorry you're at this crossroads again with him. This is devastating. And I respect your humility and your willingness to say, hey, me too. I also strayed. He is in relapse, I would say, whether or not it was sexual. He's in relapse because he's being deceptive. He's being defensive. And the fact that he's remorseful and will supposedly do anything is a very good sign. So I think the time now is to see what he does with that. How does he act out that remorse and that I will do anything? And so if he follows through on the polygraph and on what Marc is recommending, then it would be wise to wait and see what comes of that. I was just reading in Matthew about what the Bible says about divorce and how divorce is permitted in a case like yours when there has been infidelity. And it would have been permitted for your husband too, due to your infidelity. But it is an evil that God always hates, but it's sometimes the lesser of two evils. But I would say in a situation where people are remorseful and actually willing to do the work, then divorce is not usually the better route to take. Reconciliation, if there's a willingness and a follow-through, is usually the better route to take.
Right. And we would like to restore. I really was building trust after 5 years. I really was trusting him, and now it's all gone. And we're at the point where he had said no more smartphone. I'm locking the laptop up when I leave the house. Like, it's like having a child around. Like, I do not trust.
Yeah, but
and
you
I
can't.
don't want to be his mother.
Yeah, but you can't be the person who keeps yourself safe because you hold that other person accountable. And that's when you go through betrayal recovery, you'll realize that he needs to be the one who's holding himself accountable so that you can feel safe. Otherwise, you only feel safe through your efforts, not through his.
What do we do with the Bible verse that says love believes all things? Like in this case, Julie or Lisa is saying that she really wants to believe her husband, and every time she trusts him, he comes up with oh, actually it was 4 times. Oh, actually it was 6 times. So
I think we take that verse in the full context of what the word has to say about identifying truth-telling. And my mind goes right to Jesus saying to people who doubted him, well, don't believe my words, look at my actions. Know by my actions who I am and what I am doing. And our actions tell on us. A good tree produces good fruit. A sick tree produces sick fruit. And so we don't base our trust on the words. We base our trust on the actions.
All right, just for calling in today, Lisa, we want to send you a copy of Understanding and Loving a Person with Sexual Addiction, and we recommend that you and your husband attend the Intimacy and Marriage Intensive. It is happening the weekend of October 17th in Dallas, Texas, and we also have another Restore Healing After Betrayal Intensive that is November 7th in Washington, D.C. Back with more of your calls on New Life Live.
I was stuck. I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When 2 people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His
is.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
When you support the work we do here at New Life, you're helping the healing and growth process in countless people. Take, for example, Carol, who wrote, "I began listening to your radio program on my way home over the noon hour. It was so interesting, and your advice, concern, and gentleness with callers touched my heart. Soon I was reading your resources and applying what I learned to my conversations at home and at work. It became possible to be strong and gentle, truthful and helpful with the communication skills learned through your ministry. As a recovering people pleaser, I learned to have my adult voice and boundaries without hurting others in the process. I've gained a new self-respect as well as compassion for the brokenness around me and have better learned to be the hands and feet of Jesus in my small sphere of influence." So true, Carol. We never know what someone's going through, so let's show a little extra kindness. And tell someone about New Life so that they can get the help that they need. And if you can help us, not just by telling others about our ministry, but also by supporting us financially, we would be so grateful. Make a one-time gift, large or small, or sign up to be a monthly Club New Life member. Give online at newlife.com or by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Texting is an option too, unless you're driving. Text NLM to 28950, and God bless you for whatever you can do. Here is Eddie, who is in Crossville, Texas, or Tennessee, I should say, listening on Sirius XM channel 131. Welcome, Eddie, to New Life Live.
Yeah, how are you? Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. What's going on? How can we help?
Well, I'll try to make it quick. I got a 29-year-old daughter. I met this fellow last year. They just recently, she got pregnant and she took off, left Tennessee, left her home, her job, her family, which I called. I told her it's her comfort zone. She's left it, moved to Arizona with his parents, which his parent is supposed to, he's a pastor or something. Not sure. They never even reached out to even talk to us or speak to us about it. But exactly. So she got married, that's fine. That's good. She's trying to do the right thing. She is really, I call her a kid. She's a good kid. She goes to church. She's been a good kid ever since, honor roll all the way through her life. God-fearing young lady. But she left, went down there and got married, and then we sent us pictures, and we saw pictures. My wife's devastated. And I've done everything to comfort my wife. Scripture, it's not in our hands, it's in God's hands. Honey, you just got to have faith and believe He's going to take care of it. We're not on His time, but it's not. I'm watching my wife break down, and I just need to find something, or maybe try to figure out some other way to comfort her. That's all. What I need.
What would you guys say?
Wow, I can understand why that would be devastating, your daughter moving away and getting married and you not being invited to the wedding. Now, you said she's a good kid, and I want you just to kind of reflect here. What do you think stopped her from inviting you guys to the wedding? Is there anything that you could think of that is on your part that she would have hesitated or not wanted to invite you to come?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Yeah, of course.
You're a good listener to the program, Eddie. That's what that means.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, and I'm not judgmental. I believe you prove yourself to me, and I take it from that. They're very forgiving. Even when you do wrong me, I'm willing to forgive you, but you're going to have to walk back up that ladder to prove it to me. So let me set that for you. Anyway, this guy come around a couple years ago, didn't have a home.
Same
living
guy?
Out of his truck.
Or a different guy?
Yes.
Same guy,
And
okay.
I'm not going to mention his name because
Okay.
I just. So I said, hey, look, I've got a motorhome. You're more than welcome to live it. Don't live in your truck. Don't worry about it. So I took him in, put him in the motorhome. I mean, electric, bathroom, water, everything was in it, and it was all good. Fed him, took care of him. I mean, he was invited to every meal. Nothing. I mean, treated him right. Well, he up and left, tore my motorhome up inside, broke it, and I lent him some money. I said, here's some money. You need some money. So I lent him some money. Well, he just up, and instead of saying, hey, I'm going to move on and do this or do that, I said, buddy, you need to man up and take care of your kids you have here. Get in their lives, and you need to do what's right. I'm just telling you. And that's the kind of guy to kind of try to help him and this and that. Well, he up and just, boom, took off, left everybody. Now, he wasn't seeing my daughter yet. But I seen the eyes batting at one another, and I could see something was going to happen. So he just up and left.
So he has kids with another woman?
Oh, yeah, he was running back to his other exes, other ones he has kids with. And I told my daughter, I said, babe, you really need to just be patient and let God point you in the right direction. Someone will cross your path. But I'm telling you, this fella here is no good for what he's doing. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he comes back in the picture. Well, he's now going to start at the bottom of the ladder because I trusted him.
Yeah.
I fed him. I took care of him. He had the run of the mill. Well, he let me down. That being said, I told him that. I told him to his face. I said, let me tell you something. I said, you did me wrong. I'm not happy about it. I said, I'm kind of upset about it. I said, but I'm going to tell you, I don't trust you like I did, so therefore you're going to have to earn my respect.
So he comes back into your daughter's life as well, and now she's pregnant with his child, and they got married. They ran off to another state, and your wife is devastated, so you're just wondering how to help her.
And it's a fabulous question you're asking, because it seems like Scripture and telling her to have faith, those good ways to try to boost her morale, they're not getting through to her, and that's confusing to you that they don't. You're a man of strong faith, and I think you see faith as probably a primary answer to most problems. And I agree with you most of the time. Scripture may not feel comforting to your wife if it comes up too early on in her pain. And so a more effective method that has been discovered to treat pain is to be a prolonged listener and even give her permission to feel the messy emotions as long as she needs to. It's so counterintuitive because you want to move her out of the pain. You want to get her back into faith and peace and looking at the good things. But to get her there, you probably need to listen to her longer. So Eddie, I'd have you shock the socks off her by doing something so different. Go back to her to say, honey, you feeling sad or mad today? Because I just want to listen to you. And I'm just going to sit here, and if you need to cry, if you need to rage, I'm going to listen about how upsetting this is that our daughter did this to us after all we did for her. Now, I'm just going to listen. Is there anything you want to say about it? And if you'll be a listener who keeps drawing out more, tell me more, tell me more. And at the end, ask, now, what do you need from me with all this hurt and sadness that you're feeling? And keep it to that. And that's called the comfort circle, very simplified version. And it's in one of our best books, How We Love. And that applies deep comfort to a person's heartbreak.
Mark?
Yeah, we've only got a minute left here, Eddie. So I just want to affirm you that I think you've done well by this young man. And I think you gave good advice to your daughter, too. And I think you're right that somebody who breaks trust does start at the bottom of the ladder. But it is devastating with what has happened, and you do have to learn how to deal with it and manage that. And Alice has given you great direction, and maybe that's something that you can also employ with your daughter, too, to understand more when you get to talk with her in that listener role. Help us understand why you didn't invite us, because we are feeling hurt, but we want to hear your heart, too.
For sure. We're going to send you a copy of How We Love from the newlife.com store. Eddie, thank you so much for calling in today to the program. And that is all the time we have on today's episode. If you were listening or watching today and you were taking notes on everybody who called in, remember to keep them in your prayers because people are going through a lot these days. God bless you guys. We will talk to you next time here on New Life Live.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.